Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to talk about some stuff Peter Crocker said on a podcast called The Power of Three recently. I'll try to remember to leave a link to the podcast down in the description. But Peter was on there for about the first 35, 37 minutes of the podcast. And of course, Peter Crocker is the guy who does the restoration work for a lot of Doctor Who, especially Classic Who, and including the collection range. And he said some interesting things I wanted to talk about. One, he talked about season 20 and how difficult some of season 20 was to do. He talks about how difficult some of season 20 was to do, especially like King's Demons. He said a lot of them were a little tricky. He talks about how he was happy to get 5 Doctors looking so good. And he basically confirms what we've always known, basically, about how season 20 was originally supposed to come much earlier in the range. But then COVID happened and it kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. I mean, he basically says that in the podcast. So it's nice to kind of get official confirmation for that, basically, that we know season 20 was supposed to come sooner, but COVID caused all the delays to happen with it. He started working on the 5 Doctors restoration even before he'd been commissioned to do all of season 20. He started working on that in 2019. Because they already knew then they were going to be doing updated effects for 5 Doctors, and they wanted to give the effects people time to get those done, so they had him doing the restoration work. So that's pretty neat. It's interesting to know that he started working on that in 2019. And then a lot of season 20 he was working on in 2020. So this set has been coming a long time, which we all basically 99% knew anyway. But he did a lot of the work on season 20 in 2020. So I thought that was pretty neat to find out. He also mentioned the film negative being found for episode 7 of the Daleks, the original Dalek story. Because I believe the DVDs and stuff had been done by one of the positive telerecordings, but they actually found the actual negative to episode 7, which is a good thing. It had been mixed up in the wrong can. They had apparently the sound can already, but the picture can had been put in the sound can. Apparently, he theorized back when they did the VHS tape in the 80s, when they got done, they had the film one, the visual film, and the audio one mixed up, and they ended up in the wrong cans. And the one that was supposed to be the sound was given to the BFI, but they had never checked it. And so when somebody found out that they had one, he went, "Wait a minute, they're supposed to have the sound one, but we actually have the sound one." So he started inquiring, and they actually found out that, yes, they actually have the film negative to episode 7 of the Daleks. And they found that, and that was pretty neat. That means when we do eventually get the season 1 box set, episode 7 of the Daleks will look markedly better, which is pretty neat. Another interesting fact, and he even mentioned in the interview. Here's a little scoop for you. So this is interesting news. Peter Crocker has mentioned, they have not started restoration work on season 1 yet for the collection range, which means it's not coming anytime soon. Keep in mind how many episodes are in those 60 seasons. It will take a while to do restoration for season 1. Hasn't even started on it yet. So season 1, not coming anytime soon, which I've been telling people for a while, because there's no way they would give us the only mostly complete Hartnell season left without giving us a Troughton season first. I've always assumed we wouldn't be getting season 1 for a while. So it's nice to kind of be right on that. I definitely think we'll get season 6 before we get season 1. So I'm feeling pretty smug about that. So season 1, confirmed by the guy who does the restorations for the sets, not coming for a while. Hasn't even started the restoration on it. So that's pretty neat to me. It's one more we don't have to worry about wondering which one's next. We have confirmation that's not coming for a while. And then he talks just kind of more about the restoration process. So again, about 35 minutes. I would recommend checking that out. But those were the main talking points I wanted to talk about the things he said. That indeed season 20 had been coming for a while. The updated effects had been planned for a while, which makes me worry we might not get any more. Because if, early in the collection range, until just recently actually, we tended to get, updated effects for a story. But the last couple sets we haven't, probably just because of the restoration work involved with season 2 and season 9. And then I got really excited we were getting, updated effects for these stories, but they were planning those all the way back in 2019. That's back when they did them more. It makes me wonder if the set after this one's going to have any updated effects, or if this is kind of the last one that's going to have that. I'm a little curious to find that out. And the other thing we're going to do for this part of the video is we're going to break down why I'm pretty sure the next box set, the one with the beige cream color cover, according to Lee Binding, has to be one of 3 seasons. Now, some of these I can make guesses very easily on. Some of these are a little trickier, but I've narrowed it down to 3 in my opinion. So I've written out a list of the seasons we have left. That's seasons 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 13, 15, 16, 21, and 25. And we're going to go through, and we're going to start with the ones that's obviously not going to be next, and we'll work our way to the ones I don't think are going to be next. Right off the bat, again, Peter Crocker just said they haven't even started work on season 1 yet. They haven't started even doing any restoration work on it. Season 1, very obviously, not coming anytime soon. We cross it off the list. No season 1. Next, seasons 3 and seasons 4. There's no way. Season 3 has too many missing stories. There's no way they would release season 3 right now with over half of it missing. Galaxy 4 has the animation. Maybe they could use the college remake of Mission to the Unknown. Arc, Gunfighters, War Machines complete. All of the others are problematic. There's no way we're going to get those next. We all know it's not season 3. We cross it out. Season 4. There's no way they're going to give us season 4 right after giving us Underwater Menace. They're going to want Underwater Menace to stand on its own as a standalone release to make its money back. Because they have to release the animations first individually to make their money back. We know that. Plus, it's still got a couple stories you can animate in it, with potential rumors of an animation of the Smugglers happening. And potentially maybe the Highlanders, maybe not. The Highlanders is very up in the air with animation in my opinion. But we could get the Smugglers. So I definitely don't think it's going to be season 4. So boom, season 4, gone. Let's look at another one. We just had a Pertwee. I don't think we'll be getting another Pertwee anytime soon. Now, the ones we just talked about are the ones I'm 100% certain we're not getting. You get in a little rougher territory starting here, but I don't think they would give us a Pertwee before we get a Baker. Especially with John only having 2 sets left, I just don't think they would give us Pertwee, then Davison, and then Pertwee again. That doesn't make sense. And I definitely don't think they would give another Pertwee before we got a Baker. So we're going to cross out both of the Pertwee seasons, 7 and 11, gone. We're narrowing it down here. Now, after this one, gets a little trickier. You have to start thinking about it. But there's no way it's going to be season 21. Think about it. There's no way. They're not going to give us season 20 and then immediately give us season 21 after. What kind of sense would that make? Now, they're probably filming stuff for season 21 since they had the crew in, maybe. But there's no way they're going to drop season 20 and then drop season 21. There's no way we're going to get 2 Davisons back to back. Cross season 21 off the list. That leaves us right now with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've narrowed it down from 12 to 6. Boom, already cut the list in half. And almost every single one of them we've talked about is almost guaranteed not going to be. Pretty much guaranteed on those. So, 6 choices left. I personally don't think it would be season 5. Because I don't think they would give us 5 before 6. Unless they think there's some hidden episodes of Space Pirates out there they can get their grubby little hands on. It's the only reason I think they would do 5 before 6. Unless they're really sure there's some Space Pirates episodes out there. Episode 5 also is problematic for what we've talked about in other videos. How do you do the more modern animations? Do you include the color version, the black and white version, both and the Telesnap Recons, because some people are going to want the Telesnap Recons. They don't like the animations. So how do you do that for something like Fury from the Deep and the Abominable Snowmen, which are the two stories in that season, in season 5, which will basically have 3 different ways to view, with original material and telesnaps, color animation, black and white animation. This not doing season 5 next gives them time to sort that out. Plus, we know that Fraser Hines has talked about how he has done Behind the Sofa on the Mine Robber, so it seems more likely for season 6. So I feel confident scratching season 5 off the list for now. Not as certain as the ones we've already talked about, because they could pull the rug out from under us and drop season 5 before 6. But I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. I feel confident scratching 5 out. I also don't think we're going to get season 25 anytime soon. I just don't think we'll get season 25 anytime soon. The beige color doesn't match it. That beige color that Lee Binding showed, because he likes to tease what the primary colors of the next box set are going to be, and I love that he does it. It doesn't fit an 80s box set. It really doesn't. To me, it's more indicative of 60s or 70s Who. Because if you look at the colors on the 80s box sets, the colors tend to pop in them. They tend to be very colorful sets. I just don't think that beige color is going to mesh with the 80s. Plus, after season 20, we'll only have 2 80s sets left, 21 and 25. I don't think they're going to do another 80s season right after an 80s season when there's only the 2 left. So I feel very confident scratching season 25 off the list. And we're left with 4 seasons. And I think it's going to be one of these 4 seasons. We have 6, 13, 15, and 16. Now, I had always maintained that I figured season 13 would be the final Tom, which could still be the case. That would be a good way to go. The only reason I put 13 in the runnings is I think that beige cream color fits it. That kind of gothic horror brown. I can literally picture the season 13 box set in those colors. So I definitely think season 13 could be the next set. That beige color works, especially if you think about some of the early Tom stories, like 1 or 2 of them, like I think Ark in Space did it in season 12, where the intro to Tom's a little different. Instead of having that silver color in the back, it had more of a gold, tan, beige, cream color in the back when it was coming on. That could be the cover they're going for with the time tunnel, except for it being the diamond tunnel. Like on season 12, it could be more toward the beginning of the opening when it's the round tunnel, much like it uses during Tom's closing credits, the round time vortex. It could have that in the background. This color would really work for 13. Now, the other one I don't think it works for is 16. Now, there's a possibility it could be 16. I think Peter Crocker or somebody, I think, Richard maybe, mentioned in there that they knew which set was next and they had no idea where Lee Binding had gotten that color from. Now, season 16 does have that brief scene at the beginning of Ribos Operation when the Doctor's talking to the White Guardian, and the background is kind of that color. The background sky is kind of the color that we got shown, kind of. So it could be 16. I don't think so, though, because I still maintain season 16 needs to be that lilac key to time color, much like the box set is, especially the UK edition box set, that kind of purple, magenta, lilac color. That needs to be the season box set color, the season 16 box set color. That's just a give me. That's a give me. Now, Lee Binding could be trying to subvert expectations there. That's possible. But I still think if it's not the lilac color, I'm going to be a bit disappointed. I feel like that one needs to be that color. But I feel confident it's not. I'm going to scratch it off. So we talked about 13. That leaves 6 and 15. 6 makes sense to me because it is that kind of sepia, however you say it, color where you think of, old-timey TVs or flashbacks. It's kind of the color they use in Maldron Undead when the Brigadier is remembering the past. That's kind of what that color is used for, and it kind of fits that. So I can picture the season 6 box set in my head in that color with Troughton on it, because it kind of harkens back to that old-timey black and white era. So I can see that. Also, season 15, it could work. Like, I think season 15 would look good in green, but we already have a lot of green on 17, and Lee might not like them being so close together with those colors. And it does kind of make me think of the image of the Fendal. The skull, when it's glowing, it kind of glows that color, that kind of beige, cream, tan, whatever you want to call it, color. When the skull is like active, it kind of looks that color. So they could definitely be like, maybe the front cover of season 15 is mostly pulling from image of the Fendal. Also, the Fendal's final form and that gold paint kind of fits too. So that was something I just thought about recently, the skull glowing that color. So that could be something to do with that for 15. So those are my 3 guesses, having narrowed it down using my logic. From the ones that there's no way it's going to be to the ones I'm pretty sure it's not going to be. I'm left with 16, 13, and 15. I think that will be the set after season 20, either season 6, season 13, or season 15. So I want to know what you think of my logic, and which one you think will be next, and which one you would, between those 3, you'd like to be next. I would be happy with any of those 3 personally, although I do really want a Troutman on my shelf. So comment down below and let me know your thoughts on this video. Other things to do, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button. I appreciate that, and it does help out. I'm closing in on 1,000 subscribers. I'm looking forward to that. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me on that. There's a link to that down in the description below as well. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. I also just started doing a YouTube membership. I just became a YouTube partner. If you want to check that out as well, I'm still kind of getting that up and running. But I'll get it figured out. And then I also have a P.O. box. If there's anything you want to send me to look at and review, and a link to my Amazon wish list is down there as well. Most importantly, thank you for watching.